Hey guys, how's it going? So we're gonna sew some kids' clothes today, and I figured you could hang out with me while I do that. So let's sew some clothes. So here's a pile of fabric, and then we've got a tub of fabric, and we've got stacks and stacks of fabric. So I just brought this table out to set up here in my living room so we could do some little kid clothes making. So I'm gonna make her some pajamas and some play dresses. So like, it's like just an everyday play dress. It's not like a dress up dress. So just a comfy, cozy dress. So anyways, let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna cut some fabric out. First, I'm gonna do a pair of pajamas. So we will work on cutting that out. Usually like I'll cut a bunch of things and like do assembly line type stuff, but I think what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna cut out item per item, sew them, finish them, just in case if my back starts getting really not happy, then I can just not have a bunch of unfinished stuff. We'll put it that way. All right, so we are going to work on our pajamas first. I needed to go find a rotary blade. Pachow. These are really handy. If you're new to sewing and you have not done it before, rotary blade is going to be where it's at for cutting, and a mat. And they might seem a little pricey, but they really do last for a long time. And the rotary blades, you can get replacement blades for them. Yeah, it's not really that bad. So we're going to cut out one leg here, and then we'll flip this pattern over and cut out in the opposite direction. I have had this pajama pattern also for, I couldn't even tell you how long. It is really a great pattern. Okay, so we've got one leg there. I'm gonna throw these scraps down, and I'm going to move this pattern. I'm gonna pull this up. And we're gonna cut out another leg. So you can see how I flipped this pattern over to the opposite way. So when you are cutting out legs, if it's a big, like solid leg piece like this and not just a half, you're gonna wanna flip it so that you get a mirror image or mirror cutout. I don't even know how I'd wanna word that. So now we're gonna fold our fabric in half, and we don't go all the way to the edge because there's a salvage, which is the edge of the fabric, which is what, when they're printing it or like milling it, when they're making it, it's attached to a machine. So anyways, we're gonna cut two of these out, a front and a back. And so I just go up like that. So here's our front, and I'm just gonna cut that off just so I don't have a bunch of stuff dangling. Let's see if I can fit that. Nope, not quite. Okay, so we're gonna move up to here and kind of line the fabric up. Also, another tip so this is a non-directional fabric, meaning the pattern goes up and down. So you can cut it either way and it's gonna be fine. But if you have a pattern that is directional, meaning like say Ariel was facing this way, all of it, you wanna make sure that you are cutting your fabric in that direction, so that like the top of your pattern, top of your shirt, that you have her in the right way. So you just look at it. So fabric is either way. If it's printed, it's either directional or non-directional. And this is a non-directional print, meaning the pattern is both up and down. if that makes sense. And it is normal to accidentally cut your fabric out the wrong way. You'll do it a few times. But especially if you only have so much. So for this, because this is going to be, so that's our back piece, and then this is our front. So on patterns, you will see that there is like a front and a back. I just cut this. I'm not going to like make two of those. So I just cut a little chunk. So this is my front. So I'm going to do my arm pieces. So I need two of these because she's got two arms. Oop. Always when you are not using your rotary cutter, put it back in the like safety position so you don't accidentally cut yourself. Because if you bump yourself with this blade, it'll cut you. So I always have a habit of locking it up. Safety first, if you know what I mean. So I've had people ask me, are there cost-effective ways to make your kids' clothes? Absolutely, because a lot of the times, okay, so if you're doing like these cool fabrics, like, well, this is a vintage fabric, and I happen to have this given to me by somebody who's getting rid of a lot of knit fabrics, and so it cost me $0. So you can find fabrics for free or cheap, or you can spend a lot of them on them. I don't make my kids' clothes because it's cost effective. I do it because I can, because it's fun, and it gives me a sense of fulfillment to do it. But no, it's not always cost effective. But I think it can be. So for our coordinating fabric, which is going to be our like neckband and like the arm and foot cuffs, or arm and leg cuffs, I'm going to be using this color because I think it matches Ariel's hair really good, and I think it's bright and fun. Or do I want to use yellow? No, I'm going to do this. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to do white? No, I want to do this. Okay. I'm going to change my mind. So when we're doing our neckband, and this is the Alex and Anna pajama pattern, by the way, and I'll put that in the description box so that if somebody is doing this pattern, I have had this pattern for a very long time, over 10 years, and I have made, I can't even tell you how many pairs of pajamas, literally, I literally couldn't tell you, so many. So this is going to be our fabric that is for our, like I said, our neck binding and the wrist and ankle bands. And so you want to cut your fabric with the stretch. So knit fabric has a 4-way stretch, but it does have a like side to side and like top to bottom. So this is the salvage edge. And so the best stretch is going to be that way from the salvage. I'm sure there's a technical name for it. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this salvage. Because I want to square up the edge here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut in a little bit, and this is a little bit somewhat wasteful. If you are really like trying to save, don't go in that far. Whoops, you don't need to. This is a weird way to cut. Okay. So I want to square this up because I need to measure. So I want this squared on my cutting mat here, because that is going to make it the easiest for me to get accurate measurements. Come down here and get this little curly end off. Okay. So on this pattern, it gives you, on your shirt piece, it gives you like your instructions. So this is the size 5 one, right? You know? Yep. Okay. So this is a size 5. So I need 1.5 by 13.75 inches for my neck binding. So we're going to come down here to this one, and I'm going to cut, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm going to cut 2 there, but let me make sure that I am, okay, let me read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13.75. So I always measure, cut, measure, or count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.75. Okay. I just like double, triple check because if you do it wrong, that's no bueno. So I'm going to scoot this down just so I get it on the hole by 7. So we're going to go that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? Yep. 7. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do some serging. We are going to serge. So we are serging our right sides together for our neck binding. Which on this table, my serger bounces all over the place, so just ignore that. And then our and so it can be really hard to see if you're going in the right direction, you know, or the right side with these. But one side has a little nicer look to it. And that's how you can kind of tell. Okay, so here are our sleeve cuffs, leg cuffs, and our neckband. So now, sometimes I have to refer back because I haven't sewn jammies in a couple months. So I'm going to get my piece. So those are my legs, arms, things I need to look. Oh yeah, and we do need to cut elastic for the waistband, and we'll do that here in a little bit because that's like one of the last things that we're going to do. Okay, so we start with the bottoms. And once you've done a bazillion pairs of these, you won't need your instructions, but because I'm not always sewing all the time right now, I need to bring them out. When I used to do this to like sell them, I never needed like the instructions, but I just sew for my kids now and not other people's. Okay, so we're gonna sew, we're gonna serge. That part, and so you're just lining up your edges, right sides together. And then we're going to line up the crotch of the pajama bottoms. Somebody's like cutting trees down or something outside. I can hear it. I have the window open, which is crazy in January. our pants. So then I'm going to go ahead and to our next page, which is going to be, I'm going to set those to the side. We'll come back to those. We're going to do the front and back of our top. So again, right sides together up on the shoulder seam. We're going to line those up. Okay, then we're going to add our shoulders on. I'm just going to get rid of these little hangy doos. Okay, so for these, we're going to take the middle part and line it up. Let me go get some pins, because this is usually like where I will pin so that I can kind of keep it centered. So let me go grab some pins. I'll be right back. So grab some pins. You can use clips, you can use whatever it is you use. So again, like I said, we're going to take the center of, and you can kind of see, but if you can't figure it out, just fold it back in half, and that is going to be your center right there. And then obviously this is your center. But usually you can kind of see that like there's a little dip or a little nub of some sort there. So I'm going to put just one pin to line that up. And that just kind of helps guide it. Once you've been doing these a ton though, you probably don't even need that, but I do it to help me keep certain things centered that I want to keep centered. Take our two edges, serge these. And then when you get close to it, go ahead and take your pen out. It's best not to serge over those. You've got a knife and needles, and that'll bend and break things. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. So because this is curved, you kind of gotta pull the one fabric over. So I tend to just kind of stop and go, oops, and adjust. So there, that's one sleeve that's on. So you can see how that's attached like so. So we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're gonna take and open our piece up, and that's kind of my center right there. So I'm just gonna pin those two together. Come down and line up my start points with both pieces. Now now. So we're going to go to our next page. And that is where we're going to go down the sides. So when I come to do these, I will put another pin, and that just kind of helps me keep, get rid of that. That helps me keep my armpit seams aligned up together. I just put one pin in there right there. I don't worry about doing it on either end, just right there. And then we'll do our other side. Again, we're gonna match up our armpit seams and pin. Come back down here. Okay, so there, now you can see we've got all of our nice seams on there. Now you can do all of this with a regular sewing machine too. You do not need a serger to do this. It's just easier, in my opinion, or faster to use a serger, and it gives you like a nice clean seam, but you don't have to do it with a serger for sure. Okay, so we're gonna turn this right side out. And I need to go get some scissors so I can cut these apart. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna snip these. Now, doing the cuffs is a little bit tricky. It is something that honestly you just need to practice. Do not give it up before you have sufficiently practiced, because it does get a little bit frustrating. So you're gonna wanna have these. Oh, my phone's ringing. Okay. Sorry, I'm eating some M&Ms. So we've got our shirt, our cuff, all lined up together. And we're gonna serge around the edge. And like I said, these are a little tricky, and definitely a part that takes practice, because you go just a little bit and you're constantly adjusting and checking your fabric to make sure that you have all three layers, that nothing's rolled up, curled in, pinched off, slipped down, crossed over itself. And so you're just looking and feeling and making sure that all three layers are lined up how you want them while you go around, and then you're just gonna serge it off, and voila, you have a cuff. So we're just gonna do the other side. So again, we have folded our wrong sides together on our cuff. So it's like a tube, and we're gonna put it over the top of our sleeve. So we have a right side and a right side and a right side on all three sides. And so I just kind of adjust it around and I kind of fill around and kind of fix and make sure that I have all my layers kind of distributed evenly amongst each other. I line up these two seams. They do not have to be perfect. If you want to pin it there, you can. It's okay if it shifts a little tiny bit. It's not the end of the world, but if you're, you know, I don't know, selling pajamas or you know, super big perfectionist, you can worry about that. I've learned, because I tend to be like a perfectionist about things, to like let it go. It is not a big deal. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to notice except for you. So if you care and you want to obsess over it, by all means do. But I have learned to not, because I used to do that too. Like, oh my gosh, you know, it's got to be perfect. If it's not, what will people think? People will still be impressed that you make clothes, and your kids, your little kids, I don't know about your big kids, but your little kids will still love it. Okay. So we have both of our sleeve cuffs sewn on, and now it's going to be time for the neck. So for our neck one, it's a little bit tricky too. We're going to fold this in half. Now you can go press these with an iron if you want. It will help keep them more snug as a bug, but I'm not going to. So I take and find the center of my back, which I have a little lip on that, or a little thing, so that helps me. So I'm going to pin there, and then I'm going to find the center of it, and I just do that by going like that, and then I'm going to pin it to the center of the front. And this kind of just helps me get it even, because you're going to kind of pull and adjust so that this makes like it curves around, which I'll explain here further in just a minute. So I'm pinning this to the outside edge, and then I'm going to come over here and kind of eyeball that around there. Find the center of this one and kind of eyeball that. Okay. So we've got this like in 4, 4, 4. And what I like to do is I like to start in the back up here, and I'm going to put my neckband down to the bottom. Do I want to do it like that, or do I want to flip it? Yeah, no, it's fine. Do I? No, it's good. Okay. And I'm going to take this one off the back. So I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to kind of pull this up a little bit. And I'm going to be pulling the neckband and stretching it ever so slightly as we go around. Not too much, but just a little bit, so that there's a little bit of a curve to it. Again, this is another part that literally just takes practice. It's a little bit tricky. I always recommend, especially when you have not done a pattern before, like do a couple test runs with like just some random scrap fabric that you have that you're not particularly like attached to, or that was very expensive, because it does help you to do like a run through. Because I feel like with any new pattern, you have like a couple, like at least one bad run your first go round where it just does not look good, and you're like, oh. And it's better to do that with like inexpensive fabric that you're not like super attached to, so that you're not like bummed out. But always try again. That is another thing. Like, don't give up your first go round. Okay, so there we have our neck, and we're gonna go around and stitch that down. But so there's our neck. I don't know if you can see that, but there's our neck. And these. So now all we have left to do on this piece is we need to stitch around the neck and we need to hem the bottom. And then we need to add our fabric or our waistband, our elastic. We need to add our elastic to this. We need to put our foot cuffs on these. So again, same thing, we're gonna turn this in on itself. So it's like wrong side to wrong side, little tube here, little cuff. And I just kind of even it out, and then I'm gonna go over the leg, and I'm gonna take that middle, or that inside seam, match it up with those seams, and then I'm just going to kind of adjust around, get this kind of evened out in there in my little tube of fabric. And try to just make sure I've got all three pieces, nothing's folded over on itself. And then we're good to go. And then I'm just gonna smush that under there, and I'm gonna make sure I've got my pieces and nothing else. And then we're just gonna go around. Okay, so there, we've got one leg cuff. And again, these are a size 5. My daughter's in like a size 4T right now, but she is tall and she is growing so fast that I am just doing size 5s for everything. I'm hoping that the dress pattern won't be too big. I have not made it since my older daughter was little. And I just remembered that I had that pattern, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I still have the PDF, and I did. So I printed it out, cut it out, and it's just a little crossover play dress. It's got a couple different ways you can do it, and it's just cute and fun. And it's like one of those comfortable, like kind of like those dresses from like Old Navy or Gap that are just really comfy. So it's that type of dress. It's called like the everyday play dress from Love Notions. I've had this pattern for a really long time too, ever since my older daughter was like, I don't know, 4 or 5. She's almost an adult now, so for quite some time. So it'll be interesting to see, because I have Saturday and Sunday off, which is a rarity. I've been working weekends for like years, and now I'm stopping. I still work an occasional weekend. I haven't got down to like none yet, but I do have this weekend off. And I thought it'd be a good time to make a whole bunch of pajamas and dresses and probably some leggings and stuff for my daughter, who needs some clothes because she keeps growing. And she likes bright, fun clothes, and I have all these cute fabrics, and she's okay with them, so it works out good for me. But okay, so the next part we have is we got to measure the elastic, tack it down, put it on here, and yeah, so we'll be back. Okay, so this is the elastic that I use. It's a really soft, really soft, flexible 1-inch elastic. I've had this roll forever, but yeah, just 1-inch braided elastic. And yeah, we're gonna cut a piece of this. So for the elastic length, we need, what do we need? So it tells us here, so cut elastic. So for the size 5, 20.5 inches. I'll go this way. gonna go from here. So 20 and a half. So I'm just gonna cut right here. My sewing machine is out in the garage. So I'm gonna go run out there. I'm gonna tack this part down and then we will pop these into the pants. Okay, so you can see I just tacked that down a couple of times with my sewing machine out in the garage. So now we're going to put these. So how I do it, and I think this is how they tell you to do it, but let me double check. Yeah, okay. So I was like, I don't know if I just do that or if that's, but I take this part, so the back, and I'm gonna put it right here. And we are gonna go around and serge this. You don't wanna really cut into the elastic too much. I try to like keep it down and mostly like just cut the edge of the fabric. But we're gonna pull the elastic. Just a little bit, because this is gonna like pucker up the fabric. You don't wanna do too much or it like won't wanna go through. You can kind of guide it like that too if you wanna like pull and push. Hi, sis. Let me cut this little part off. So now the rest that needs to be done, I will be doing with the cover stitch machine, but you can see how we have that stitched all the way around. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold that in again. And then we're gonna use the cover stitch machine to like go around the edge and make the waistband part. So we'll do that here in just a few. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna go eat something. Then I'm gonna come back and we'll do some more. Okay guys, we're gonna get our serger out of the way because we are gonna use our cover stitch. So I'm just gonna bebop and set this over here on the floor gently. And then move, oops, try not to knock everything down. Move my cover stitch up. I need to get the pedal over there and plug it in. Okay. All right. Hopefully I'm not in the way right here. Okay, so this is a cover stitch. You can use a regular sewing machine to do what I'm about to do. This is so dusty, I haven't used it for a month or so. Okay. So I am going to go around our neck here and just do a nice stitch that goes around. If you were using a regular sewing machine, you would want to use like a stretch stitch for this because it's a stretchy part that, I mean, it has to go over their head. And if you use just a regular straight stitch, it'll make it tight, like it won't stretch more than what it originally could give. And if your kid's got a big dome, you would rip the stitch. But you don't have to do this part either. You can just leave it. The only problem is that it might like curl up. But it's also like not vital. It doesn't make or break the pajamas. If you don't stitch this down, it just kind of finishes it and keeps it from like the seam from curling up on itself. this is always a pain in the butt. So you got to get this up. We're going to put that up. We got to hold all these down at once. Oh, it worked good for me that time. A lot of times it's like I have to keep readjusting my fingers like over and over and over. But you can see, let me get up and show, let me show the class. So that's what it did. So it stitches that down. So that's what a cover stitch does, and it's stretchy. So it's got give without like popping the seams. Okay, so the front or the neck part of our shirt is done. Where is that when I'm sewing? Should I try to get you more in the middle? And then, so it is a good idea to press this in. It is always kind of a pain. So here's a fun fact about me. I'm pretty impatient and I don't like to do unnecessary steps. Now, I am not saying it is not unnecessary, and I might do it because this fabric is kind of stiff because it's like an old, it's not like the bamboo knit that's really popular right now. This is like old school cotton interlock. And so it's kind of thickums. And this is like painted on, not digitally, like, I don't know how they do it now. Those that old school sewers, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit with this kind of as a weight. I don't know if you could see what I did there. So I've just got that sitting there, and I'm just going to have that kind of pushing that down for a minute. I could go get my iron out and everything. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I will for the sake of this video. I'll go get it. But what we're going to do, we're going to move this over. Get it out the way. Okay, so we're going to do this. Or we're going to do, you're like, this, what are you talking about? We're going to do our waistband. So I've got that folded in, and I can feel where it's at. So I want to go to like kind of the edge of that, because we're going to tack it down. And we do need to kind of we'll pull a little bit. So you're going to kind of have to pull and push with this, because it is kind of a pain, because we do need to like straighten it out and go around. So with this, you're kind of pulling and pushing at the same time. Because if you don't all the way around, you'll get to a point where you'll have a ton of fabric, and that might happen here, because I don't know if I'm pulling enough. But we will find out, because it'll all be bunched up. Again, it's not the end of the world, because you're most likely making these for your kids. If you sew pajamas and you sell them, you do need to be compliant with the children's safety. There's a name for it. I used to be registered with my business through there, because you need to do that in order to sell stuff for children, like handmade stuff. Everybody has to comply with it. Anyways, it's got a big long government name. I could look it up and find out. I don't sell. I'm just making these for my child, so I can do that because I don't sell. But anyways, so there's our waistband. So we've got the back. I didn't get this as far down as I wanted. I wanted it to be like lined up on here, and I'm skipping, but I bought a refurbished machine, and I think that was the problem with the machine, and it's whatever. Again, I don't sell these for like retail, so for me, I don't care. And I got, a better deal on the machine than what it would be brand new. But I think I discovered why it was returned. But it's whatever. Like I said, it's fine for me. I'm not selling this type of stuff. I have no literally desire to sell handmade children's clothes this day and age. I'd rather just spend my time. I burnt myself out on that. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of great customers. I loved making baby diapers because they were so cute. And, you know, the other little things that I would make. A lot of fun. Not something I would do now, though, because I did burn myself out on sewing for work, that I just don't want to do that because I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So I try to find, like, on the back around the edge somewhere, a spot to start, just because sometimes your start and stops aren't beautifully, like, flawless. So it just kind of helps it not be like in an area like right up front where it could be really noticeable. So that's why I do that like that. And so with this, like, if you press it, it'll stay like perfectly lined up where you want it. I'm not gonna do all that right now. I might, and I'll show you how to do that when I make one of the dresses or something, just because I'll have a whole bunch more. I should just, usually what I do is I like batch sew. So I will cut out a bunch of pattern, you know, fabric, whole things, and I'll have them all set up, and then I'll like sew all the neck binding, sew all the arms, whatever, and kind of batch sew like that because I can make a whole lot of stuff. And I will probably do that, and then I will show you how to press out the hems before you go and cover stitch them or stitch them with your sewing machine, either way. So we'll probably do that here in the next little bit. But for this video, I just want to show you really quick how I do a pair of pajamas, and to show you that it's actually really easy, and encourage you to maybe do some yourself. What would be fun is you could thrift for fabric, you could hit up yard sales, you could like upcycle old clothing and turn them into pajamas or dresses or whatever. There's lots of fun low-cost ways that you can make stuff for your kid or for yourself. So there you go, guys. There's the tops, there's the bottoms. I just kind of flip them over so I could like try to fit it in the whole shoot, in the whole frame, in the whole whatever. Anyways, tops, bottoms, so you can see Ariel's going this way and she's upside down. So that's what I meant by directional or non-directional fabric. This is a non-directional fabric, but anyways, cute, super adorable. We love them. Anyways, thank you for sewing with me today. Bye-bye.